Welcome to LIFEchurch360, everybody. My name is Matt Morgan, and I get to be the lead pastor. And I say I get to be because it's such a privilege to be your pastor. We want to welcome you to church, and we really hope that you start to connect here at LIFEchurch360. And some of the ways that you can start to connect is, one, you could fill out that Connect card, and that's right there on your page. And fill out as much as you're comfortable with. We would love it if you would share a prayer request with us. We pray for you every single staff meeting. And if you share a prayer request, we will pray for you by name and begin to pray with you. Also, you can begin to volunteer at LIFEchurch360. There's lots of places you can volunteer. We have the drive-in campus that's at 10 o'clock on Sunday mornings. We also have the opening of our Smoky Point campus coming up very, very soon. We're hoping in August, that really the first week of August if we can. And we're just watching how things change, and I'm sure you'll see that as well. We'll keep updating you. But we're going to need a full cleaning crew. We're going to need to have full camera crews, video crews, our computer operators, sound operators, all those things. And you could be a part of all of those ministries as well as the guest services and everything else that already regularly happens. So please begin to get connected and be a part of LIFEchurch360. We would love to have you here. And those of you who are going to stay online for a while, we're really working on having an online ministry, not just online media, but an online ministry. So we want to make you be able to get or help you get connected there as well. Today, what we are doing is the message is not a message from me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be asking, we've been talking about inquisitive questions. An inquisitive question is when you ask a question when all you want to do is know the answer. It's not a question that you're trying to lead somebody to an answer. It's what do you really think? And it's a very powerful thing to do, to ask somebody their opinion and let them speak and let their opinion stand for what it is. And I really believe right now in culture today that it would help us all if we would really listen to each other. Like really say, I care enough about you that I want to hear what you think. And I really believe that if we would do that even with our kids and really like treat them like they're people and we want to know what they think, that they will want to know what you think, as well as the rest of culture. And with all of the stress that we're under as a community, and COVID has added so much stress to us, there's just pouring out all over the place. And the racial things that have been happening all over the country, it breaks my heart. And I really believe that the church has an opportunity to be unique and different, where the church would say, you know what we're going to do is we're going to model love. We're going to model listening. We're really going to say, I want to know what you think and how can this help? So we have some guests with us, and I'm going to ask them questions. We're going to start with this one, and we don't have to go in any order, but please share your personal story, who you are, where you grew up, and 2-3 significant things about you that would go, okay, this would kind of let people get to know you. Who wants to start?
I'll go ahead.
Okay, Alex.
All right, so my name is Alex Nathan Polk. I grew up in South Florida with a single mother, and she had 4 of us. I had a great time out in South Florida. It was a beautiful place, but Florida is culturally different in every single sector. But it was a great place. After some time there, I came up here, met my wife, and I've been here for now 8 years. And it's been great. It's been a beautiful place. Washington is very different, but it's nice. It's a good different. I was born in Toronto, and we moved out pretty quickly. And my family is just a very densely Caribbean family, very Jamaican family, very proud family. And another thing is that my mother, she sacrificed everything for us, all 4. And we all benefit from it very differently, but She's a beautiful woman, and she is who I aspire to be. Yeah, that's me.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Who's next?
My name is Jane Haynes, and I was born and raised in Kenya, and I moved here in the U.S. 20 years ago. And I'll say the one thing that's unique about me, I guess, moving into a country without knowing anyone, I moved to Pittsburgh to go to school. Yes, of course, I was scared. But growing up in Kenya was, I will say I've been very blessed. You know, I hear stories of people saying things that they've gone through, but my parents, you know, they always worked hard to make sure that they provided all that we needed. And then, yeah, moved to Pittsburgh, went to school, and then I found myself in Seattle, and here I am.
Wow. Thank you for being here.
My name is Christopher Price. Let's see. I was born in El Paso, Texas. My parents are still together. We've lived all over the world. Korea, Japan, Alaska is where they ended up retiring. And I spent a lot of my time growing up there. I've had a very diverse childhood, very enriched childhood. Parents are both Christian and are, as I said before, still together. I think the thing that would be different about me that of any note, I moved here about 3 years ago from Alaska after retiring from the United States Army. It was a very fun trip since I drove from Alaska down here. And I haven't had any regrets coming here since.
Wow. Right on. Welcome. Glad you're here.
Thank you, sir.
My name's April Chesterfield, and like I mentioned before, I was born in North Carolina. Father was in the military, National Guard. So they made, actually, I'm not sure why they wanted to move so far away from Carolinas to Idaho and Oregon, Northwest. But growing up, parents both believers later in life, so they converted from a secular lifestyle to a Christian one. And so when that happens, you get, all in type of, the whole world changes and you start having to live it differently. And so we were a result of that. So I've been hearing about, Jesus all my whole life, and my parents spent a lot of energy sheltering us. So their perspective on the Southern mentality for life in the East Coast is very different from the West Coast, and they chose the West Coast lifestyle for us to be brought up in. I did not hear a Southern accent growing up ever, because they felt that I'd have a better chance in life getting jobs and if I know how to speak correctly.
Wow.
Very interesting. So here I am. I went to school here, and dancer. I've been dancing professionally for over 10 years, and started a nonprofit dance company. And so, I've done a lot. That's my jobby. That's my hobby. I don't do it for money because that's kind of ruins it for me. So I have a full-time job, and then I dance on the side.
That's awesome.
That's what I do. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Welcome. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
So we have like a bunch of imports, people coming from all over the place. That's really great. I would love to know what does Black Lives Matter, the Black Lives Matter movement mean to you? What do you think of that? Go ahead.
Let's see. To give you a little idea, let's paint a picture of a table where a bunch of kids are actually eating.
Okay.
And there's a child that is not eating at the table. Black Lives Matters, what it means to me is a little kid gets to eat at the table as well. Due to all of the violence, due to the police against us of our skin tone, we would like that to stop. We want to be seen as people. We want to matter as well, as much as anybody else. Statistics are actually shown that we have more of a chance for police violence against us when they see our skin tone versus any other race out there. And the movement means that would calm down substantially. It also means that we are not seen as an object, we're seen as a person, people. And there's actually respect and care placed upon us as much as anybody else.
Thank you. That's good.
Sir?
Who else? Yeah, Alex.
What Black Lives Matter means to me is that people want to be seen as people. We just want to be together. We want to be appreciated. We want to be accepted. And then a lot of those things, most of those things don't happen. They haven't happened for a long time. To me, what it feels like, being from such different areas of this country, it feels like a bursted bubble of oppression and just evil. And I believe that Black people, have been pushed into a corner for much too long. And they're experiencing a mass flight or fight experience. And you can only do so much. You can only say so much for so long, repeatedly. But it's beautiful to me. It's beautiful to me because there is a worldwide, not just countrywide, not just statewide, there's a worldwide response to it that everyone sees that this is wrong, this is unjust, that there are people here that are being treated less than. So it means to me that people, due to our technological advances, people are being able to see everything. The veil has been taken off. You can only hear so many stories from your cousins or your friends of a friend until it starts to say, this might be real. No. Watch it. See it.
Yeah.
It's on every single page, on every single social media. Cannot ignore it. And for me, growing up, this helps my anxiety, knowing that there are people out there that understand and sympathize and believe that I am important and I am a human and I am of value. So that's what it means to me.
You are. That's good. That's really good.
And I'll say for me, what it means to me is, I think there's a misunderstanding when you say Black Lives Matter. The other person say, but my life matters too. That is not the point. We're not saying your life does not matter. We're just saying listen. And I love how you started by saying, listen. Let's listen and hear, where am I coming from? That way, when you understand where I'm coming from, maybe you may have a little bit of understanding of the reasons why I do the things I do, or why people are behaving out there, not to condone violence or anything, but how do we come to a point where I say, you know what, I do understand where you're coming from, I understand your pain. And my pain may be different, since maybe because I didn't grow up here, so I don't know the whole history, but it's like this. Let's just listen. Listen to me, understand me, and let's go from there.
Yeah. Thanks.
Oh, so I have a maybe unpopular opinion.
Okay.
So, of course, Black Lives Matter. Yeah, I have. So I approach it from a biblical perspective, So maybe it's my upbringing, I don't know. But when I see injustice, or which I've experienced that once in my lifetime, but how my family dealt with it was that they got on their knees and they poured over that situation in prayer. It wasn't it wasn't an anger, we're a victim. Like, I was never taught that, to see the world as attacking me. So I've been raised, I love this country. I have a very strong appreciation, and I acknowledge that. That could be my optimism coming through. I don't know, but so when I started studying the Black Lives Movement mission statement, I came unglued as to how heretic it was as a Christian. Now, as a society movement, of course, it's a wonderful movement. Who could argue against that? Like, come on. But I went deeper, and because I'm maturing in my faith, I'm trying to figure out what's really going on here on the spiritual realm, because that's all this is. There's any oppression it's of the devil, and I don't condone that. I mean, it's just, but I am saved, and I have a lot to say on that, and I know it's not a popular opinion, which is another issue I have. I've got the mission statement right here. I can read it to you with specific phrases in there where they say that they're open to hearing my view. It's different from your view, but if you go up against an activist, you will be shut down. I did it one time, and I'll never do it again. I voiced my opinion on Twitter, and they came for me. I'm like, wait, these are my brothers and sisters. I thought we could have it. No, yeah. So, I'm torn. I talk about this too. I see both sides. I see the movement, the organization are two different things. Organization, I think, is heretic and of the devil, and I see the legitimate concern for Black people to be acknowledged for what the beautiful souls that we have is wonderful. But I cannot get behind the organization. Yeah, I can read it to you right here. In fact, I will. Hang on a second.
Okay. And this is the mission statement.
Mission statement.
Okay.
Yeah. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. Great, sounds great. The Bible tells us that men are to be the head of the household. I love that. And I think that our jobs as parents aren't to make our kids comfortable, is to bring them up. Now, I'm criticizing this as a believer. This is not a Christian organization, so I have to give them some credit. Cut them some slack. It's not a Christian organization. However, they don't support the nuclear family. I can go on. It's like, we foster a queer affirming network when we gather. We do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking, rather than the belief that in the world are heterosexual unless they disclose otherwise. And it goes on, it wants to dismantle the cisgender privilege and uplift Black trans folk, especially Black trans women. There's no patriarch in their statement. I have a problem with that, because we need our strong Black men. We need strong Black men, period, in our families. And I'm so passionate about that. And I was like, so that's not popular opinion. I know that. And I wish that it was different, but I can't support it. Sorry.
No, thank you for sharing. I think that's what we're here for, to hear everyone's opinion. And I think that you should be able to share your opinion.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
as everyone should. And I definitely hear in everyone here that black people matter and that there has been injustice and that needs to change. So I really appreciate this. I wanted to ask this question, and the question is, have you experienced racism yourself? And could you tell a story or two about that? And so people could hear what that's like.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Again, that happened when I was in high school, and it's funny that you mentioned that. It didn't hit me to that it was actually a racist experience until like recently. Because my parents were so good at sheltering us. And in their mind, oh, we want to shelter, we want to protect them from the evils of the world, which is, bless their hearts. And my dad's so sweet. He's just, I'm so sorry I sheltered you guys. I'm like, Dad, come on. He's the best. He's incredible. But we were not shown the true dark depravity of that issue until, now. Anyway, so we were in high school and we lived in we just moved to a condo, and we had neighbors that I didn't know were writing letters protesting having a black family live in their neighborhood. Again, we didn't know this was going on. All we knew that we were very, you guys need to speak softer in the house. You don't make any noise. Like the stress level was just up here to be perfect. And we didn't know why. It's like, well, why? And I had a Cocker Spaniel. Oh, I love that dog, Princeton. Came home from school one day and he was gone. They gave him away and they never told me why. It was because they were trying to eliminate any kind of extra noise that would cause Mr. Neighbor to have more ammunition against our family. And I saw, mother crying. I couldn't figure out what was going on, and why were she so mad at us all the time? And dad's on our back about, get upsetting the mother, and letters going back and forth, between the condo association, they all got together, and so our church at the time got involved with on praying. Like, what's the big deal? Like, why is everybody? Why can't we just go to high school and be normal, like normal kids at home? And they never showed us the letters that were written against us. We just got like a notice trying to evict us, like from our area. And then literally the next day, just silence. No, I didn't hear any updates. Now, I kind of resent that for parents for keeping us in the dark that much, because I feel like we could have learned something from that whole scenario. But they never talked about it. The church, I did hear answer prayer requests. They say prayer request, praise report. They do that. And so I remember my dad standing up and thank you for praying for us. And Mr. So-and-so, the neighbor, he no longer lives he moved. He moved out. So everyone's
The other neighbor who was complaining moved out.
Correct.
Okay.
At the time we were kids, we were like, well, okay, I guess why are we clapping for that? It's like that's the extent they protected us, and they were just praising God, and I'm like joining in and praising God too. But yeah, but since then my mother has passed away, so she's not able, I can't ask her more detailed questions, but Dad, I could ask questions. And so yeah, that was my one experience dealing with that. And unfortunately, I didn't see the ins and outs of how they dealt with it, really. But looking back now, I can say, yeah, that was a real deal. That we did that. They did not like us.
Your neighbor was
the condo association.
Unhappy that you were black, and he was going to the condo association, and the association was saying, that's valid and we're listening to you.
Because, so they were coming as complaints.
Right.
And you guys, so every complaint that came in, we tried to fix.
Yeah.
They had time and date. At this time, you had this noise, and it was just after your dog barked. Just all this stuff.
Right.
And so my mother tried to fix all those things so that we wouldn't get evicted or asked to,
It's put a lot of pressure on you guys as kids.
yeah, we had to be perfect. We had to be. Then he moved, and then we had rest of our. But I didn't, maybe maybe why they didn't want us to know the details. They didn't want us to hold a grudge or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, we didn't. Oh.
Wow.
I have two. So a couple weeks ago, I drove down to California to see some Army friends of mine. So in the trip, I got rerouted to Klamath Falls, Oregon. So I'm a pretty personable guy. I talk to everybody. I'm walking through the Walmart, and I'm getting stares from everybody. And I didn't think anything of it until I turned around and I was watching associates just clocking me through the store. They were watching everything I was doing. I got my items and I was going up front, and there was a family of four standing in front of me in the checkout line. And I said hi to the little girl, and the mother turned around and gave me the most scathing look and pulled her children to her and told her, "We don't talk to them." And I went,
To them.
"Okay,
She said the word
I'm
them.
a them now. Got it. Cool." And so that was just one thing.
This is 2 weeks ago.
Yes, sir. About a week ago, so I have a neighbor who likes to profile anybody that is who is a minority, and she had been telling me she had known exactly what these types of people were like because she was a security guard in the court system back in the 70s. So she's racially profiling people. There was a car that was parked about 2 feet inside my driveway, and so I couldn't get into my driveway, and normally that's because my next door neighbor and all the people that live there park kind of crazy. So I walked over and politely knocked on the door and asked them if they could just scoot it up so I could get into my driveway. The husband proceeded to tell me point blank that it was not their vehicle and to get off of his property. I went, okay, cool. Walked back down the driveway. The wife, the one I used to encounter a lot, looked at me and asked me what was I doing on their property and proceeded to throw a racial expletive at me. I looked at her and said, "Who are you talking to like that?" And she said, that's a public parking space and you can't claim the parking space. I was like, hold on. I was just asking if you could move it forward so I could get into my driveway. She then proceeded to start ranting and raving and then cussing at me and then calling me several different colorful terms. And I went, okay, I'm done. I just swerved around the car, went into my driveway, and then closed the garage and then thought nothing of it. If you know anything about the Black Lives Matter and the police brutality, there is this fear of black people encountering police that is out there. 20 minutes later, there are 3 policemen at my door because she called the cops telling them that she felt threatened by the big colored man next door who made her feel small and weak. So I had to have a nice hour and a half long conversation with 3 cops who had their hands on their guns ready to go at any given time.
Wow. This last week.
Yes, sir.
Wow. It's pretty fresh, like the last 2 weeks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I only had one, but there are other encounters that you have, just like Chris's encounter, where you start to think and you start to wonder what's going on. I can't say it's racism, but I feel like these people don't want me here. Grocery stores, I've had checkout clerks just up and walk away as I'm approaching them. I've had stares, restaurants, any establishment, just hard stares. They're not inviting, so it makes you think. But the one incident I had was I was walking into a grocery store back in Cape Coral, Florida. And as I'm walking in, I see this truck getting ready to, pass by behind me to exit. So, you know, I get past the car to go in, and it's fine. And as I'm going into the store, these 4 guys, 4 white men, yelled all the N-word at me and then sped off. I was like, oh, that's new. I never experienced something like that before. But it didn't make me feel good. And it confused me because I'm Jamaican, I'm Caribbean. And these type of experiences for a Jamaican is, we don't get that a lot, especially from the islands or from Canada where my other family is. We don't really get that a lot. So I wasn't taught that. It wasn't really something to be aware of. But experiencing it is it's different.
Yeah.
It sends chills down you. It's like, man, I should probably get home and not go do it through, you know, my irons. I should probably go be safe somewhere. Who knows when they're gonna, you know, tail me and follow me somewhere? Who knows?
Yeah.
Security is just gone that you had as a kid. I was 17. It's like, okay, this is not good. But yeah, I mean, you know, little things make you feel insecure about yourself.
Yeah. Like you don't belong.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's weird. It's a weird feeling. But that's it. That's my experience.
Yeah, I'm sorry this stuff has happened to you. It's just not right. How about you, Jane?
Well, mine is actually, well, after listening to you guys, I'm like, oh,
It's not a contest.
like, oh, geez. But if you don't know, I'm married to a white guy from Portland. So when we started dating, of course, you get those looks. You know, again, growing up in Kenya, we didn't get that. Actually, if you don't know, Kenya was colonized by British. So we have a ton of white people. So actually, my parents' neighbors, they're all white people. So seeing white people, it was never a big thing. So coming here, I had never experienced that. And that's why I said in the beginning, maybe my story is different because I feel like, man, I guess I'm extra blessed here because I've never experienced any hate. And I feel like it's actually been the opposite. There've been a lot of love. I have a lot of white people in my life, except that's the only time I experienced just the looks. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
life goes on. But yeah,
Is it just like disparaging look? What
yes.
is a white person and a black person doing together married?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Oh, working together.
Yeah, especially on the East Coast. We took a cruise. My husband's also white, hence Anna is my sister-in-law. So we always make fun. It's like we have the most diverse, which is true. We have a very diverse family.
So talk about your family because it's
Yeah.
really
So Anna and we're both married to brothers.
unique.
So it's Chesterfields. Anyway, so we went on a cruise in New Orleans. Whoa, that's a culture shock.
So your husband's white.
Yes, very
Yeah, very white. You both have white husbands.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he's So talk about looks. My goodness, from my sisters over there, my cultural sisters. To the point where I turned and my husband's like, babe, don't. They're not like you. You don't confront. Because I was going to say, excuse me, what are you looking at? He's like, just leave it. And
It's awesome.
it took a lot because I'm a firecracker. But yeah, and so I just observed and, it's like, they're probably trying to put myself in their shoes. Like, why would they be so upset with me? What did I do to them? Type of thing. And it goes deep,
Yeah, it does.
from their perspective. So yeah, let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
That was a new experience. And I was staring back because I thought they were just gorgeous. I'm like, I don't see that here. I see, Arlington. I see a lot of white faces.
Right.
And so for me to go back there, I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. I'm like looking, and they did not appreciate that. But yeah, it's very different. So you would probably, have you ever been back east before? Like Georgia or
No.
Florida even?
Oh, yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you, so you know.
So it was black people looking at you going, what are you doing, girl?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're not alone. I've gotten that too. My wife is Pastor Anna's sister.
Oh.
Um,
Why are you up here?
Small world, yeah. But
Pastor Anna is our pastor of our Spanish campus.
right,
And she's from Nicaragua. And she's a wonderful lady. So
it's a fantastic lady.
everyone's mentioned Anna. I thought I'd mention who she is.
But yeah, it's just incredible because I don't notice it. I'm just obliviously, having a good time. And my wife is like, "Why are all these women staring?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, "These women they keep giving me dirty looks." I'm like, "What are you talking about, honey? I don't see anybody." He's like, "No, honey, you gotta watch these women. You'll see them." We were in a Puyallup fair, walking around. I was like, "Man, you're getting looks? I don't know what you're talking about." Whenever I get looks from a black man or woman, I say hello. I gave a black man a nod,
Yeah.
But she was getting dirty looks. I was like, "What is going on? Why would you get dirty looks?" It was just so weird to me that they would look at her and be like, "Well, what are you doing?"
And you're from the Caribbean. So, like, you're both from the Caribbean.
Right.
And black and Hispanic
It's just a
in the
melting
Caribbean
pot.
is normal.
Right, absolutely.
As far as you played together as kids, you've lived together as people, like that's normal.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know.
Wouldn't that be beautiful if that could happen here?
Yeah.
Black, white, whatever color.
Right.
If it could just be people.
See, the thing, the beauty of it is it does happen. It does exist.
Yes.
This is not a foreign, abstract thought. The life that I lived growing up in South Florida, melting pot. All the people I interact with, talk to, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, Indian, beautiful people. They're friendly, happy. I think that's what it is. It's because it's such a massive melting pot. But once I moved up to Cape Coral, which is predominantly white, it was a whole new world. It was just someone turned the lights on and said, "Hey, dude, this is our world.
Wow.
These people out here exist."
Yeah.
You didn't know that for a good portion of your life. It's there. It's pretty scary. But moving out to Washington has been, I really enjoyed it.
I find it more tolerant up here.
You
Yeah,
do?
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. No, good.
Yeah, much more. What do you think, Chris?
It is definitely more tolerant, but on a different side, it is, at least for me, it is very biased. I am 6'3", 240 pounds. I'm a big, solid dude. I don't understand how somebody could walk past me and all of a sudden not see me.
Right.
That is impossible to do. But I experience it daily, and I'm like, I can look at somebody and say, "Good morning," and they won't say anything to me, like I don't exist. But then someone of a lighter skin tone will say something to them, and they'll respond just like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. But meanwhile, it is more tolerant. There are more people here, at least, for instance, this church was the first church out of all the churches I've been to in the area that was actively like, "Hey, come in, come in." There are a lot of other churches I would go in, and I'd go in, and they wouldn't say a thing to me. I don't understand how you can go to a church and be in the business of saving souls, and you see a new body, and you don't want to say anything to them. They could be the key to saving countless souls, but they don't want to say anything to you because you're not like them. While in the South, it's just violently aggressive against you in some places down there. And I don't understand that either. But on the flip side, yeah, up here is a lot more tolerant and they're a lot nicer compared to a lot of places I've lived.
That was such an awesome privilege to be able to interview those four people. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I just want you to know that we as a church really do care about the injustice that has happened over decades, and it's wrong. And we want to be part of the solution, and we want to listen, and we want to love people. And that's what this whole thing is about. As a church, we want to continue to minister to all people. And if you would like to help LifeChurch 360, you can. First of all, please pray for us. Really, this is a trying time. It's a hard time. Please pray for us. And then secondly, if you'd like to give to the church, you can. And you can give by texting. That's 77977. That's the phone number. And then in the memo section, you put LC360 space app, APP, and then the dollar amount. And then it will walk you through a secured site. You can also give by going online to our website. Lots of people set up a recurring gift. That's a great way to do that. And if you'd like to give, you can send a check. So there's lots of ways you can do that. We really appreciate you. And I'm so glad that I get to be your pastor. And I'm so glad that we get to reach this community together. We love you guys. Have a great week. God bless.